name is Buckpreet Brar, and I will be discussing model minority and yellow peril today in these times of coronavirus. Now, what is a model minority? Well, on January 9th, 1966, in a New York Times Magazine publication of success story, Japanese American Style by William Peterson, there was the origination of this term model minority. Now, in this publication, he discusses Japanese Americans adapting and becoming these successful people and being the model citizen or the model minority. And in this, it's pretty much discarding all of the struggle and strife. Like, despite going through these Japanese internment camps in World War II just before this publication, losing their homes, their jobs, losing all their belongings, they're seen as this model minority, and the lost sight of this struggle just dissipates, and no one really remembers it. And for yellow peril, there's the fear of danger and threat of Asians against the Western world, and this can just be seen through these Japanese internment camps where people were fearful of the Japanese Americans and put them in these camps so they would not be threatened. And these terms apply to Asian Americans in general. Now, Yuko Kawai discusses these terms. She is a professor and researcher of intercultural communication, and one thing she talks about in this published article, Stereotyping Asian Americans, the dialectic of the model minority and yellow peril, there is this circular relationship between the two terms, where we go from model minority to yellow peril and back again. And that happened from the internment camps back to model minority, back to whenever they find some struggle of yellow peril, it occurs once again. And it occurs to all Asian Americans just because of this ignorance and racism in this country and putting the blame on all of the Asians together. Now, model minority, it's negative or positive. Some people say it's positive in a way where it relieves the tension of yellow peril, but it's still negative because of the causation of the racial triangulation where there's the whites being superior, and then the Asian Americans next, and then the list of minorities goes down into this triangle which pits the minorities against each other, which is obviously very negative and just very terrible for us. Now, I'd like to point out this Donald Trump tweet. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I would like to show you how he says the Chinese virus. Instead of coronavirus COVID-19, the President of the United States decides to call it the Chinese virus. This immediately insinuates some racial tensions. It kind of places the blame on the Chinese, and in this ignorant country, it'll go from the Chinese to just Asians in general. And this is one part of yellow peril already starting. And here I would like to discuss the racism, the Asian American racism in this country currently because of coronavirus. This is showing the yellow peril. And in the Asian Pacific Policy and Planning Council's Stop AAPI Hate, which is just an incident report where people put incidents of these issues occurring, where they received over 1,700 incident reports since March 19th, 2020. And in the press release, they wrote some of the incident reports where one of them involved this man walking down the street and two guys in a car drove towards him and shouted, "Trump 2020, die, C-word, die." It's a very bad term, so I'm not going to say it. But the next one is a 90-year-old Asian man dragged and shoved out by a white man of a store where the Asian man, 90 years old, fell on his back and head. And it's just stupid. It's just very stupid. The whole situation is dumb. All because of coronavirus and this yellow peril. And this next one, a Texas man stabbing an Asian family. This occurred in a Sam's Club, a place that seems safe, it feels safe, but this family was attacked by a man named Jose Gomez, and even stabbed or tried to a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Just how terrible that sounds. It's insane. There's an IPSOS poll which found that 30% of all Americans witnessed someone blaming Asian Americans for COVID-19. And here's this ignorance, this blame, and this is really what's causing this yellow peril, this fear. They really believe these Asian Americans are just out here trying to spread the coronavirus. Now this leads to the Asian American gun ownership. The fueled scapegoating of Asians. People are just putting the blame on Asians once again. Asian American families are worried for their safety. There's all these fights and threats that are occurring. And in one instance, San Gabriel Valley had a sharp rise of Asian customers. Although there's no research and there's no actual statistics, a lot of gun owners have been reporting that they've been noticing a lot more first-time Asian gun owners. And this is in the time of coronavirus, in this time of yellow peril. And it really shows that there is this fear. And I even have a friend that told me about, we were chatting together, and pretty much he came out with how he was mad at his dad because his dad just recently bought his first gun because of this fear that's going on.